Having neared the end of my sophomore year of college, I found myself in a dark and difficult predicament. I had received a research grant to make a hugely involved piece of art that I had been reckless enough to propose I could possibly make. The idea had been to photograph something that was impossible to photograph, while following in the footsteps of historical masters of art. I was to photographically illustrate Dante's Inferno. I found myself immediately intimidated. How could I make impossible photographs? How would I structure the entire world of the Inferno in only a few photos? And how could I ever hope to stand up to a master like Dante? To escape this triple predicament, I tried digging my way out. I dug through any text I could get my hands on and any images I could find. I stayed past closing hours scavenging in the library. I exploited my job at the Georgia Museum to view vaulted artworks, and I borrowed many books from many friends, most of which I have yet to return. The deeper I burrowed into this infernal history, the larger loomed the scope of the images I was to make. I wrote and sketched a number of plans for various photographs. Initially a series of 9, then 3 distinct images. Each new draft entailed fewer but larger pieces. Eventually, I determined I must build a single piece, a judgeless last judgment, a triple triptych both physically overwhelming and conceptually encompassing. These abstract decisions settled little and extended the uncertain path of the project. Having decided the conceptual skeleton, I still had to negotiate the moral meat of this hopeless place. Dante's Inferno, Purgatorio, and Paradiso are highly structured and morally considered. What would be the morality of my last judgment piece? And ultimately, why would a new ethical code even matter? Maybe it wouldn't matter. This mercurial sense of morality became a festering meditation for me. I focused on it, and it became a focus for my work. I realized the necessary arbitrariness of the world I had to construct. This last judgment would be a lack of judgment, a human hell, void of divine design, where the blind, ambivalent hand of justice weighed neither the virtuous nor the vicious, but held all people culpable to the infinite heaviness of their being. I collapsed Dante's heaven, earth, and hell all into this existential hell, and centered it on the root of all human actions, whether good or evil: love. Though lacking divine order, love, through excess, corruption, or deficiency, would naturally compel the characters of this world abandoned of hope. With the vision of this world, I stopped trudging through texts and started tackling the technical. I took thousands of photos of the outlying elements of the real world in order to build up the imagined world in my mind. I explored the alien and terrifying places that quarries and mines become at night. I buried myself in the burning noontide sands of Savannah's beaches, and I got lost in the black fog of Sweetwater River in the pre-dawn of early morning. I photographed these sites alone, and I photographed in studios with 100 extras. I photographed and re-photographed hundreds of things and spent hundreds of hours polishing the tiny pieces of this huge hell through the cold glow of my laptop screen. When I finally saw the full-size print, a 30-foot narrative of life-sized figures, the image swallowed me whole like the mouth of hell. I had tunneled through the conceptual and technical challenges of the project until I'd reached its heart, which now beat to its own dark rhythm. I saw that this place had a life of its own, divorced from me. I had sought to make a world void of its creator, and succeeded. Looking at this nightmare landscape, I find myself a stranger in a strange land. I do not recognize previously familiar characters, and in turn, they do not acknowledge me. I cannot have succeeded in matching the inspirations Dante, Michelangelo, Bruegel, Sophocles, Aristotle, Nietzsche, and so on. And in many regards, I failed to create the great and impossible world for which I had aimed. Despite these failures, I believe I have achieved something I had not sought, something more beautiful and horrific. The characters of this world are not those of Michelangelo or Dante. They are simply extensions of me. They are not the image of any great master. Rather, they are made in my image. I have formed a race like myself, made to suffer, weep, laugh, delight, and condemn me, as I have condemned them.